It's like having a blessing that you don't know you've been given. There are support systems that are within Martin that may not exist in another space. Martin University is in the business of creating success stories. Success stories like me.
Good morning and welcome to Let's Talk Live with Martin U, the live podcast bringing much needed community conversations to the table. Let's Talk Live with Martin U is a live, exciting, and reverent podcast that discusses community topics, events, alumni successes, and much more that only Martin University can deliver. Today, I have the one and only Neil Jameson III, and he's here to talk with us in regards to union organizing. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
So, we're going to get right into it and discuss what you do and who you are.
Well, I'm Neil Jameson III. I'm an organizer with AFSCME, the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Council 31 in the state of Illinois.
Okay. And how did you come about joining an organization that is unionized?
Um, it's kind of been around my life. Uh, I've been, I feel like I've been around it all my life. I started learning about unions and solidarity at the age of 7 due to my parents taking me to UAW Kids Camp. I've been working with AFSCME for about 6 years now, 7 years at their international level. Um, I've been able to work in many different places from Louisiana to Delaware to Las Vegas. And for me, it's always been about helping empower workers and letting them know their rights, not only in the workplace, but the power that they have and being able to make effective changes within their communities.
So, what is a union exactly? I know you just gave a brief description on what you want to do and help others, but can you give somebody a detailed, definition of what a union does?
Yeah, a union is a group of workers that come together to make changes in their workplace for the better. Um, I know a lot of people like to think of the union as a third party entity, but no, it is the workers. The workers make up the union. It's the workers being able to to address things anywhere from pay to workplace conditions to even being able to have political power, especially when we talk about the things that's going on in this world currently. When the pandemic was happening, it was the union that was fighting to make sure that frontline workers receive the proper compensation for putting their lives on the line.
And what type of, I know that your position takes you places. So, what exactly does your organization mean? Since you do travel different places and it could be different organizations, is that the plan? Is that the point to work with different organizations, or is it just solely one group that you guys work with?
No, so one of the great things about AFSME is we represent a vast array of different type of workers. Um, Most people know us as the Public Employees Union. One of our most notable locals is Local 1733, which is out of Memphis. And for those who may not remember, the I Am campaign, when Dr. King gave his last speech to the Memphis sanitation workers, those were AFSCME members. With
Mm.
that, with that being said, we cover everything from sanitation workers to teachers to correction officers, and now one thing I'm proud of that we're covering is cultural workers that work in cultural institutions such as the Art Institute of Chicago, and one that I'm very proud of that we just organized, the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago, who just won their right to unionize.
I'm not sure if you can hear the claps, but it's clapping. But that is super cool. I also wanted to talk about, a lot of people may be watching and are like, well, if this is in Chicago, how does that, affect us here in Indianapolis? Or where can we find something that's unionized? Is there an ASPME based here in Indianapolis?
Yes, so there is an ASME Council. It's actually Indiana, Kentucky, ASME Council 962. Um, they have been doing some really great work here as well. Currently, ASME represent city employees. They represent the employees over at Eskenazi, and then the Marion County Sheriff's Office. Both, I think, the officers as well as the civilian employees. And then, I mean, there's always new things that are trying to be organized, and especially with cultural institutions being organized, that's one of the big priorities for ASME right now. Who's to say that some of these cultural institutions here in Indiana might not be organized as well?
With that, I also had a follow-up question. I'm trying to figure it out because I did not know that that was that many organizations that you all helped here. Say someone is watching with an organization, they're a president or a CEO right now, but they don't have a union or they wish to be more organized than they are right now. Is there a way for them to contact Ask for Me in regards to that and help?
Yeah, they can always go to askme.org and go to the info tab, and there should be a tab that where it allows you to reach out and ask for more information. Um, Most times it would be a worker that will reach out that really want to help and continue to improve their workplace so that they can provide a great service. Um, but if there is a president or someone higher up that really wants to help their employees, I say or them by getting your employees organized, it goes a long way because then it allows for them to not for you to not only advocate on their behalf, but for them to advocate on their behalf as well, to make sure that they receive the proper things.
Now, many people obviously would not know your history with Martin University. Would you like to share your background and how you're connected with Martin University? Because this is kind of like a full circle thing.
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, of course, I used to go to the Martin University Kids Camp. Um, I mean, it's Martin University is a staple here in Indianapolis. As an Indianapolis born and bred, um, it's a institution that you know it's one of those places like no matter what, especially driving on the highway, it's like they go Great Martin U. And so, I mean, for me to be back here speaking with you all today, it's a dream come true. I definitely learned some things about solidarity and building great camaraderie with other kids there, and us being able to come together. And so, I think those values have always stuck with me, and now I'm able to apply those values in the work that I do.
Nice. Is there anything you'd like to share with the viewers currently if they're interested in joining as far as a career path with Ask for Me? Is that a way for them to apply? Is it the same website? Is there somebody that they should speak to? I know you mentioned a union number. Can you repeat that again, so they can get some more information on it if they're interested?
Yes, one of the ways you can always reach out if you are interested in joining Ask Me, you can go to askme962.org, or you can also go to askme.org. Um, and there is job postings on there. Another way you can also find out, especially if you want to get involved, and not just with Ask Me, but with any labor organization, there's a lot of different opportunities, not just organizing, but staff repping, communications. Um, it's so many different avenues. I would also say be sure to check out unionjobs.org as well. And if you do join this, I just say keep an open mind and make sure that this is your passion. I mean, um, it is a little bit of hard work, but the reward at the end of seeing workers and seeing people become empowered, that's what it's all about for me.
I love that. I know that you mentioned what you all do for organizations as a union. Why would you want what would you say to somebody that you're encouraging to work for someone with the union within their company?
It's better. I mean, um, when you talk about the benefits of having a unionized workplace, a lot of people don't know unionized employees tend to make $10,000 more a year. They have better benefits. They have better retirement systems. Um, you know, I, a lot of people my age don't know what a pension is unless they have a union job. Everyone talks about a 401k, which is great, but a 401 is based on the stock market. It can go up and down. A pension is fully guaranteed. And so, um, I say it it allows workers to also be able to have a say so in their daily lives and make sure that workers don't feel like they're just coming in, punching the clock, doing what someone else says, but that they actually are able to contribute to the company and making it better. It's them and the company working together, like I said, to continue to provide a great service, whether that's um, private industry and or public.
With you traveling to so many places, is that something that all employees within your organization do, or is that just because of your role?
It was more so just for my role, but I will say, um, with working in labor, um, it is so many different opportunities to, especially if you do like to travel. There are different there are different labor organizations that allow that traveling. There's even some that take you international as well. So there's organizing all over this world.
Yeah.
um, so yeah.
What are some of your goals you'd like to achieve within this organization? I know you're an organizer right now. I'm sure you didn't start out as an organizer. You probably worked your way up to get to where you are now. So, what is your goals for yourself within Ask for Me?
Yeah, I started off as an organizing apprentice, and actually it even goes back before then, just volunteering my time, helping out on campaigns, and so my goal is eventually to become a staff rep. I would like to move on from organizing to becoming a staff rep, where I'm able to then help employees with things such as bargaining contracts, contract negotiations, representational work such as grievance procedures. Um, I would really like to be able to have that long-term relationship with workers and being able to help them not just form their union, but maintaining and continue to build that power later on down the line.
So, follow up would be there's also room for growth is what you're saying within your job. So it's not like you're stagnant and sometimes you get to the job and that's it. Like there's no room, nobody's leaving, nobody's going anywhere. You're saying there's definitely room for growth within Ask for Me.
Yes, definitely. And I think that's one of the great things about Ask Me. It allows for you to learn so many different skill sets and to be able to move around. I have coworkers who have literally started off as um, people who worked in comms or people who worked in the administration office and who then become organizers, who then later on become assistant directors. I mean, it's so many different ways to get involved with the labor movement and be able to move and navigate around there. So, uh, like I say, if you don't like being stagnant, definitely join the labor movement. It's fun. It's so many different opportunities. Um, but most times when people become an organizer, they like to stay an organizer. It's real fun. You get to do a lot of things from the ground up. You get to see it from the start, and build those great first relationship with workers. And I mean, those relationships last a lifetime. I still have people call me from 6 years ago when I started in Louisiana. They still call me to this day
Mm.
because the relationships that we've been able to build over the years. They're no longer just my workers. They're my friends. They're like family at this point.
Nice. With you traveling so much, I'm sure people are wondering as far as, well, you're traveling, your leases, what does that look like as well? Because I'm sure they're probably assuming that it's coming out of pocket for you to to travel from Louisiana and then go to Washington, D.C. and then travel into Las Vegas. Does that come out of pocket or is that also provided from the organization?
The organization does help provide and take care of those resources. And I say ASME does a great job. We because those resources do come from member dues. It is as part of the dues to being able to help not only their locals but also help continue to build the labor movement. And so it's not like we're flying extravagant. We're not flying first class,
Right.
or it's not like they're putting us up in the 5-star hotels. Uh, we're very mindful, but it is a necessary resource to be able to go out and help, um, help continue to build workers up, and they do a great job of taking care of us. But I think to answer your question, yes, it is. It is not really. It's not out of pocket. The organization do help cover those costs, and I'm very grateful for it because, like I said, I've been able to experience and go places that I never thought I would without them.
Wow. That's so cool. Must be nice. But I wanted to follow up with you on what you currently do. And although you're not located in Indianapolis, there can be people that do want to travel to Chicago and see what Chicago has to offer. So if they do and they're watching, please describe what you do so you can get some more indie people in the spot.
Yes, so I'm currently an organizer with AFSCME Council 31 in the state of Illinois. They currently represent over 75,000 state employees, well, employees in the state of Illinois. Um, Recently, we've been organizing cultural workers under the Cultural Workers United umbrella, which is under AFSCME as well. So when you come to Chicago, Chicago has a very rich history in the cultural arts. Um, and so most people, they know about the Art Institute as well as the School of the Art Institute, the different museums, the Field Museum, the Peggy Notabart Nature Museum, and the Museum of Science and Industry. We currently represent all of those institutions, as well as some local libraries, and I mean, we're continuing to ride this wave. Cultural institutions. Um, a lot of people think that unions are only for like those who work in public sector, who work in factories, but
Mm-hmm.
no, we say everybody can unionize, and I think we have definitely showed that, especially within the cultural world. Like I said, we just won the election for the museum science industry. Uh, shout out to MSI Wu. But I mean, um, yes, if you're in the Chicagoland area, I definitely say check out the rich history of unions. Everywhere you go, when you look at that city, most of it is built by union labor, and if you ever get the opportunity, definitely come on by, meet some of those great workers over at the Art Institute, meet some of those great workers at the Field Museum, um, especially over at the Museum of Science and Industry. When I say this group of workers, they have a special place in my heart because, you have young adults who 19, 20, 21, 22, who are going against this $1 billion $1 billion facility, who have all these resources, and some of these workers work 2 to 3 jobs just to make ends meet. And yet, for them to be able to come together and stand up and say, "Hey, we deserve a union. We deserve a voice in what we do." It took me back, and it made me fight even harder with them because at the end of the day, these workers, they care about the institution. They love being able to provide experience to guests that keep them coming back again and again and again. Um, but also, they deserve respect, and they deserve to be compensated and have, you know, no one should have to work 2 jobs just to make ends
Mm-hmm.
meet. And so, for them to win, it it means a lot. But I'm sorry,
You're good.
it's very emotional. Um, but yes, when you come to Chicago, please come check it out. Come meet these great workers and you know, uh, find out more about them. Find out like how you can get involved and help support them because one of the things is these institutions, they have a lot of money, and there's a reason they fight kind of hard to prevent these workers from organizing because they don't want to give up this power.
Mm.
Um, at the Museum of Science and Industry, management ran a very strong anti-union campaign where they was telling the workers to make informed choices. And the reason I do air quotes is because they try to spread misinformation or create rumors or doubt in these workers' mind about what it means to join a union. And we show them by overwhelming support that by overwhelming majority that no matter what you're trying to do, these workers are going to stand up and they're going to form their union. And that's why they won 70 what was it, 79 to 26. Like you're not going to stop these workers at all from organizing.
Hmm.
And I mean, the next step is to get them a great first contract. And we already told management, bring it. Like, hey, these workers are not, they're not they're not in it for the short haul. They're in it for the long haul. Like,
Right.
they're ready to put up the fight, and we're gonna be right there with them. Helping them the entire way. So, um, yes, if you can, please come out. You can also go to AFSCME.org, and you'll see some of the different fights that are going on across the country. And there's links to be able to click in and check out which organizations are helping out, and then finding out how you can get involved by showing some type of public support.
Nice. I know you mentioned everybody right now is in it for the long haul, especially the young kids and the youth. I think it's just different with our generation to where we are going to put up a fight and we are going to stand on what we believe in. And also, our generation isn't going to really take up too much of any type of nonsense or anything within an organization. We're real quick to just, all right, I'll go to somewhere that does
Yeah.
care. So I feel like them joining a union or wanting a union organization for their career paths and for where they're at speaks volumes, because they're not trying to leave and go somewhere else. They just simply want what they deserve. So I do
Yeah.
thank you for sharing all of that information. And I thank you for joining me today on Let's Talk Live with Martin Yu. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we close out today?
Thank you for having me. And like I said, Indianapolis, I love the city. I love what Martin University is doing for the city. So if people have any questions, they want to learn, like I said, about labor organizations, definitely check out, like I said, Union Jobs, AFSCME962.org. Um, and I mean, there's so much research. There's so many things on the web that are available. So many great labor organizations here. Uh, I mean, it's something for everybody. So, if you work in a place that's not organized, I say find out how you can get it organized and continue to make it better.
All right. Well, that is all the time that we have today. I thank you again, Neil Jameson, for joining me on Let's Talk Live with Martin Yu. Those who are watching, I'll be here same place, same time, right here next week on Let's Talk Live with Martin Yu.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks, Tia. Bye.
Bye.
It's like having a blessing that you don't know you've been given. There are support systems that are within Martin that may not exist in another space. Martin University is in the business of creating success stories. Success stories like me.